Keep yourself in the loop of everything football on the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast. The latest news on and off the field, be it college football, Big Ten, SEC, Big 12, Pac-12, ACC to the NFL. We've got you covered. Listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast.
And welcome to the GSMC Football Podcast. This episode is brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network, and as always, I am your host, Jesse Tapia. Alright, so here we are. It is now Wednesday, middle of the week, okay? And the joy of it all. Ravens have their veterans showing up to training camp today. We are so close, folks. We are so close. Bears showing up tomorrow. All right. The Hall of Fame game, 2 weeks left. All right. Once those 2 weeks are up, we'll be watching football. It'll be smooth sailing up until February. And you know what? You don't have to get sad once it hits February, because once we get to February, we got the AAF starting up. Okay. That league, it's not going to be anywhere near the quality of the NFL, but nonetheless, they do have former NFL head coaches coaching some of those teams. So, I think we'll get some organization. I think it'll be pretty fun to watch. But nonetheless, football is right at the tip of our fingertips. Does that make sense, or is that just redundant? Tip of our fingers, I guess. Right at the edge of our fingertips? I don't know. Okay. But nonetheless, we're at the point in free agency or in the offseason where we're talking about how valuable NFL teams are. We're talking about Darrelle Revis retiring. We'll be talking about Darrelle Revis retiring in this first segment, but nonetheless, like I said, we'll talk about the most valuable NFL franchises according to Forbes in the second segment. All right, Deshaun Watson's got a video of him working out, showing us, making us all freak out about the fact his ACL looks fine, and when in reality, you can't see the ACL. All right. Say the dude's knees are looking fine, but don't say his ACL is looking fine because you can't see his ACL. Okay? And then for that fourth segment, we'll be talking about anything else going on in the world of football. All right? But nonetheless, training camp. We're here. I don't think I've ever been as excited as training for training camp as I am right now. Okay? I guess training camp just signals the fact that they're going to start filming for Hard Knocks. All right? That's going to come out August 8th, I believe. Or is it August 7th, I believe, actually. August 7th. Okay, and I think the first preseason, after the Hall of Fame game, is August 8th. Okay. We're close. Extremely close. Alright. But nonetheless, we still got guys retiring. Alright, and one of those guys are Darrelle Revis. We've had Jason Witten retire. He's now going to be heading into the booth. Isn't he going to be doing the Monday night games? If I'm not mistaken, I believe he is. All right. And that's going to be a great little pivot. All right. Going from being a professional football player to being a guy who's going to be sitting in the booth making millions of dollars already still. John Gruden had the greatest job in the world. All right. I still don't know why he went to coach the Raiders. I get the fact that they offered him 10 years, $100 million, but you're going city to city every week, watching a football game and just talking about it. It doesn't get any better than that, I'd say. Okay. But nonetheless, getting back to the point, talking about players who have retired. All right. And there's been some pretty notable players retiring. I think we could develop a pretty decent football team with these guys. But nonetheless, Darrelle Revis is one who is going to be now a former NFL player. Okay. And I remember I talked about Darrelle Revis once. On the surface, didn't think he was a Hall of Famer, but nonetheless, I used my head after that. And yeah, Darrelle Revis is a Hall of Famer. Okay. There was multiple points in his career where he was, without a doubt, the best cornerback in the league. Okay. 2007 was his rookie year. He had 3 interceptions, Started all 16 games. All right, 17 pass deflections. Also had 74 tackles. All right. 2008, his second year, he makes his first Pro Bowl. Okay. Starts all 16 games, 5 interceptions, 1 touchdown, 16 pass deflections. All right, and a forced fumble. 2009, makes the Pro Bowl once again, except the thing that's different about this year, he makes the All-Pro team. Okay. 6 interceptions that year, 1 touchdown, 31 pass deflections, 47 tackles. I mean, those are great numbers. Okay. 2010, once again, Pro Bowler, All-Pro player. Only plays 13 games that season, has 0 interceptions, 9 pass deflections, and that gets him All-Pro honors. All right? Years like that show you where you make the All-Pro team after stuff like that, how good of a corner you actually are. All right? 2011, makes the Pro Bowl and All-Pro team once again. 4 interceptions, all right, a touchdown, 21 pass deflections. 2012, he's out a lot of that year, only plays 2 games due to an ACL injury. All right, that's his final year with the Jets. They let him go. He goes to Tampa Bay, all right, first year after that ACL injury, and makes the Pro Bowl. Okay, 2 interceptions, 11 pass deflections, 2 forced fumbles, 43 tackles, and a sack. Again, Darrelle Revis does not need you to throw him the ball for everyone to realize, throw the ball towards his side for everyone to realize how good of a corner he is. Okay. Leaves Tampa Bay after that year. The next year goes out to New England, ends up winning a Super Bowl there. All right. Pro Bowl. And actually, did they get the Super Bowl that year? I don't believe so, actually. Okay. Let me look. Did New England win the Super Bowl the year after that, or did they win it that year with them? Let me see. With New England, that was 2014. Yeah, so they did win the Super Bowl that year. All right. See, he had an interception in their game against Indianapolis, and that was the Deflategate game too. But nonetheless, I mean, yeah, makes the All-Pro team and a Pro Bowler with New England that year. All right, 2 interceptions, 16 pass deflections, forced fumble. 2015, he goes back to the Jets and makes the Pro Bowl there. All right, 5 interceptions, 9 pass deflections there. And then 2016 is his final year with the Jets. Only 1 interception. Didn't really do much. All right, and then 2017 only plays 5 games with the Chiefs. Gets picked up midseason and then chooses to hang him up. All right. Yeah, he's a Hall of Famer. The only question is he a first ballot Hall of Famer? And I'd say no. Okay, I think it's already difficult as it is for cornerbacks to get into the Hall of Fame, but nonetheless, to be a first ballot, that's nearly impossible, and I don't think Darrelle Revis is a first ballot Hall of Famer as good as he was. All right, and like I said, I mean, there was about a 5-year point in his career where he was without a doubt the number 1 corner in the league. Like, there was no debate for it. All right, it was Revis Island and Revis Island only. Then after that, okay, yeah, his play starts to diminish a bit, but nonetheless, the question isn't whether or not he's the best. I guess the question is whether or not he's the best, but nonetheless, you know he's top 5, and you know he's probably top 2 at that point. All right? Darrelle Revis was going up against guys like Randy Moss and easily winning those battles. All right? I don't think anyone was better than Darrelle Revis at their peak. Now you got this new breed of cornerbacks coming in, guys like Jalen Ramsey, Marshawn Lattimore. All right, you got Denzel Ward coming in, a rookie this season for the Browns. I mean, I think cornerback position's pretty well taken care of. Okay, and I think quarterback position is pretty much on its way to becoming one of the highest paid positions in football, I think. All right, because now players aren't as quiet about their contracts and all that. Players are making it known we want to get paid. All right, you got Le'Veon Bell out here wanting to be paid as an offensive weapon. I mean, what are you going to tell a cornerback? Cornerbacks got some of the biggest egos, all right? They're just receivers who couldn't catch the ball. All right, so it'll be interesting. But nonetheless, like I said, we've had a lot of good players retiring. Cam Chancellor, Jason Witten, DeMarco Murray, all right, hasn't necessarily been guys who didn't have the best NFL careers retiring. Okay, and let's see exactly who's retiring in 2018. So let's see. We had, like I said, Revis, Palmer retired. All right, Matt Forte retired, DeMarco Murray, like I said. Joe Thomas, Okay, Richie Incognito, Nick Mangold, Eric Wood, Zach Streif. Like I said, Witten. Vincent Jackson retired. I forgot Vincent Jackson retired. Dwight Freeney called it quits this offseason. All right, let's see. Paul Posluszny, James Harrison, I forgot, called it quits. Jarrell Freeman, David Harris for the Jets. Antonio Cromartie finally called it quits. Like I said, Cam Chancellor. I mean, a lot of good players. Okay? And as far as the players who retired this offseason, I'd say that, Darrelle Revis, I guess Jason Witten would be the best. Or actually, would it be Joe Thomas? All right. I think it might be Joe Thomas. Yeah, he played for the Browns and all, but Joe Thomas was probably the most stable thing about that Browns organization when he was there. All right, I'd say Joe Thomas, Jason Witten, and Darrelle Revis are probably the best 3 players all time who retired this offseason. All right. So, the star-studded retirement class. A lot of good players going to be up for the Hall of Fame, too, first ballots. That's going to make it even tougher for Darrelle Revis. Joe Thomas is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Jason Witten's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Is Carson Palmer a Hall of Famer? I don't think he's done enough, all right? Not enough playoff accomplishments or anything like that. So I think that'll keep him out. But nonetheless, he had a great career. All right, he'll probably end up on some ESPN desk or something like that, Fox Sports, NFL.com, or NFL Network or something like that. I'm sure we'll find him in some booth or as some type of analyst. Talking about Carson Palmer. All right, but either way, we're going to wrap it up here. Next up, we're going to be talking about the most valuable NFL franchises, so stay tuned, and I'll be right back.
Are you looking for help for your fantasy football team? Check out the GSMC Fantasy Football Podcast. Get today's best advice on who to start, who to sit, even who you should draft. From sleeper picks to red-hot lineups, they got it all covered for you. That's gsmcpodcast.com/fantasy-football-podcast. We'll cover traditional leagues, dynasty, PPR, even IDP leagues. When you need fantasy help, there's just one show to hit up. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit gsmcpodcast.com for more info.
All right, and welcome back to the GSMC Football Podcast. Spent that first segment talking about Darrelle Revis retiring. Is he a Hall of Famer? Yes. Is he a first ballot Hall of Famer? No. All right. It's tough for cornerbacks to get in first ballot, so I just don't see that happening. But nonetheless, he's had a great career. We've had a lot of great players retiring so far this 2018 offseason. Jason Witten, Joe Thomas. All right. So, probably feel a decent team would play if these guys were in their prime. But nonetheless, now we talk about the most valuable NFL franchises. Okay, Forbes came out with their top 50 list of the 50 most wealthy or the 50 most valuable franchises, professional sports teams. And of course, at number 1, usually you think you maybe have a soccer team up there like Manchester United, Real Madrid, but nonetheless, the Dallas Cowboys are the most valuable professional sports team out there at $4.8 billion. Okay. Cowboys absolutely just print money. Jerry Jones is a genius, best owner in the NFL. All right, and it's the Dallas Cowboys. They're the gold standard of professional sports teams. Everything they do. That stadium fits 100,000 people, and he sells it out every single Sunday. Okay, it's ridiculous. The dude's got a billion-foot-long TV screen in the center of the stadium. All right, hanging that punters can hit if they want. The only thing this team is missing is Super Bowl wins. Okay? It's ridiculous. And why haven't we had a Super Bowl yet in Jerryland? Alright, we keep going to Miami a whole bunch. We've been out to Santa Clara. We went to Minnesota. When are we going to Dallas? Okay? And it's got to be soon. I mean, there's no way that the NFL has made it to where they're not going to have a Super Bowl anytime soon, and Jerry rolled. All right, but nonetheless, yeah, you get the Dallas Cowboys at number 1. The number 2 most valuable sports team is Manchester United. Number 3 is Real Madrid. Number 4, Barcelona. Number 5, the New York Yankees. And then at number 6, your second NFL team, the New England Patriots. All right, valued at $3.7 billion. I mean, this team has been absolutely dominant from 2001 up until now. Okay, and it doesn't seem like it's going to be stopping. It's going to be stopping soon, but more so in the next few years. Just whenever Tom Brady retires. Okay. And, I mean, of course the Patriots are up there. All right, Robert Kraft playing in the New England area. All right. I mean, the East Coast is supreme when it comes to sports. All right. Then you get the Lakers at 8. Tied with the Giants as far as the same value. All right, both valued at $3.3 billion. I mean, the NFC East, I guess they're the ones who are printing money. And then you get the Redskins and Warriors rounding out the top 10. All right, both valued at $3.1 billion. I don't understand how the Redskins are so valuable. I mean, maybe it's because they play in that D.C. area, but nonetheless, I mean, the Redskins have not been a good team in years. Okay. I mean, no real notable players. I mean, it's just, they've just been around. Okay, and I don't understand how they're so valuable, but nonetheless, I guess Dan Snyder does a good job to keep them up there. And I mean, they close off seats in their stadium too, but nonetheless, I mean, I guess this just another team was printing money. All right. Then after that, the next NFL team is the San Francisco 49ers at $3.5 billion. All right. Or $3.05 billion. I mean, they don't really play in San Francisco. That's Santa Clara, but nonetheless, the Bay Area is a nice little spot to play in considering how much money they make over there. All right. And we got the LA Rams being the next highest at $3 billion. The Chicago Bears, Houston Texans, the New York Jets. Then you got the Eagles, the Broncos, the Miami Dolphins. All right. The Baltimore Ravens, the Atlanta Falcons, Pittsburgh Steelers, Seattle Seahawks is the 32nd most valuable sports franchise. Minnesota Vikings at 33. Raiders at 34. The Colts at 35. Panthers at 36. Chargers at 38. The Cardinals at 41, Chiefs at 43, Jags at 45, Titans at 47, Saints at 48, Tampa Bay at 49, then Cleveland at 50. Teams that are not on this list: the Buffalo Bills, the Detroit Lions, the Cincinnati Bengals. All right, am I missing anyone else? I don't believe so. Okay, and I mean the Bengals, Lions, and Bills. I mean Buffalo. It's Buffalo. It's cold year-round, it seems. Okay? It's not New York. It's not New Jersey. It's just Buffalo. Okay? And, I mean, as far as Cincinnati, you should be a pretty big team since you're in Ohio. But nonetheless, you still come second fiddle to Cleveland. Okay? Cleveland has been a losing sports town for a while. Okay, I mean, other than them having LeBron James for the last few years. Okay. But nonetheless, Cincinnati still tends to take a backseat to Cleveland. All right, so I completely get that. I mean, Cleveland is a team where they're just boring. I mean, there's nothing great about Cincinnati. Okay. I mean, no one really talks about the Bengals. There's no media market there in Cincinnati. Okay, and it's just the Bengals. They're just the Bengals, all right? They're just another team in the NFL. And as far as Detroit, I mean, this is what made Barry Sanders retire and Calvin Johnson, all right? Detroit is just not a great place to play. Okay? I mean, they even look at the Pistons games over in the NBA. No one's showing up to those. All right? I mean, it's a bit ridiculous, but nonetheless, Detroit just isn't the greatest place to play. All right? But, I mean, like I said, it is, I guess, just assume that those three teams, of course, wouldn't be in the top 50 amongst the most valuable franchises. All right? They're behind the likes of, pretty much every other NFL team. The Mets are worth more. Obviously, Houston, the Rockets are. The Brooklyn Nets are. Teams like Celtics, obviously. The Bulls. So, I mean, yeah. There's a whole lot more valuable franchises ahead of Cincinnati, Detroit, and Buffalo. All right, as far as Cowboys being at the top, I mean, Jerry Jones could lead the NFL and just start his whole new league, and I'd say that, yeah, that league is going to rival the NFL. Okay. But, I mean, as far as these top value teams, I mean, which of them are close enough to get in the Super Bowl? That's what we tend to do, right, is just see who's close to getting the Super Bowl. I'd say amongst the, let's go top 10 NFL value teams, all right? So you get the Cowboys at 1. Then there's the Patriots, the Giants, Redskins, the 49ers, the Rams, okay? Then you got the Bears, the Texans, Jets, and then your 10th highest team is the Eagles. All right. I'd say as far as my top 3 teams as far as getting close to a Super Bowl win are the Patriots, Eagles, and Texans. Yes, the Texans. Okay. Do not sleep on that team. And you know what? We're going to be talking more about the Texans on the next segment. But nonetheless, I mean, as far as the Eagles and Patriots go, we could very well have a Super Bowl rematch this season. Okay, and I would not be shocked and I would not be mad at all. I mean, we could get Carson Wentz versus Tom Brady. Last year we had Nick Foles versus Tom Brady. All right, and Carson Wentz, I'm curious to see what kind of season he has this year. All right, because there's got to be some type of pressure. Like, you are the defending Super Bowl champs, but nonetheless, your team won that Super Bowl with a different quarterback. All right? This Philly team just found out what it was like to win. All right? These Eagle fans just barely found out what it was like. That's a taste that they're going to want more of going forward. All right? And Carson Wentz has got to deliver. Philly fans, as much as they love their team, they will throw you out if you are not delivering and producing for that city and team. All right? And I mean, I'm not saying Carson Wentz isn't. I mean, the guy was going to win MVP before he blew out his knee week 15 last season. All right? I'm just saying there is going to be some pressure to it. And I mean, imagine if Nick Foles has to start the first 4 games of the season because Wentz isn't ready. Foles goes 3-1. All right? Then Wentz comes out and the Eagles aren't looking as sharp as they did with Foles. I mean, those fans are going to be chomping at the bit to get Foles back out there. All right? And like I said, chances are none of this even happens. Chances are Wentz is going to slide right into being the starter and it's going to be fine and there's not going to be a difference. All right? But nonetheless, it is a possibility. Okay? But like I said, I mean, Philly's gotten better all around. I'm sure they'll be just fine once Wentz comes back. All right? Him and both Deshaun Watson coming back from their ACL injuries. Okay? And as for the Patriots, I mean, as for the Patriots, you can never count them out. Right now, they're still the best team in the AFC. All right, the Jaguars did give them a run for their money in the AFC Championship game, but nonetheless, it wasn't anything the Patriots couldn't handle. Okay? We'll just see what's going on for them. I mean, they could be a team who possibly trades for Earl Thomas. All right, if the Patriots get Earl Thomas, I mean, that defense is going to look a whole lot better, and if that defense is looking good, I mean, it's going to take a whole lot more pressure off Tom Brady's shoulders. Okay? But nonetheless, I mean, this list as far as, I mean, I guess let's find a surprise as far as one team being ahead of another as far as like the whole valuable franchise list. I'd say maybe Baltimore being ahead of a handful of teams. All right, Atlanta for one. All right, you figured Atlanta would be worth more than the Baltimore Ravens, but nonetheless, it just doesn't work out that way. Kind of surprising with like how the Redskins are so high. All right, Redskins haven't really done nothing as a football team over the last 2 decades or so. Nonetheless, they're still up there. All right, so we're going to wrap it up here. Next up, we're going to be talking about Deshaun Watson. All right, like I said, there's a video of him working out, looking good, looking agile and all that. So we'll be talking about that. So like I said, stay tuned and I will be right back.
Check out the show that's built on the MMA. From the UFC to extreme cage fighting, they got the fights covered. Check out the GSMC MMA podcast. Get the latest news on past or upcoming fights. Join us as we talk to and about some of the biggest names in the MMA, past, present, and future. When it's the fight game, there's just one show to check out. GSMCpodcast.com/MMA-podcast. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
All right, and welcome back to the GSMC Football Podcast. So far today, we've talked about Darrelle Revis retiring. We've also talked about the most valuable franchises in the NFL. If I remember correctly, the top 5 rounds out as the Dallas Cowboys at number 1, the Patriots at number 2, Giants at 3. I believe it's the Redskins at 4. And then the 49ers at 5. So, yeah, the Cowboys, Patriots, Giants, Redskins, and 49ers are your most valuable NFL franchises. Okay? I don't think I'll be buying any of them anytime soon, but nonetheless, if I ever have the extra cash laying around, I will definitely look into it. Okay? And for only $4.1 billion, that could either get you Manchester United, Real Madrid, or Barcelona. Or the Yankees if you want to buy the Yankees, but I would never want to buy the Yankees. I despise the Yankees, so there's that. Okay? But nonetheless, now we talk about Deshaun Watson. Okay? Well, what a Ricky Phenom he was last season. Lighting the league up on fire. Guys like Richard Sherman praising him. Alright? Looking like he was, going to be the Rookie of the Year. Absolutely ridiculous that he was as good as he was. The dude was playing like an NFL vet. Okay, you watch Deshaun Watson, you're not thinking, oh yeah, this guy's needs a couple more years of development. If he gets this right and gets that right, he'll be amongst one of the best in the league. Okay, he was already at that point where the dude's top 10 quarterback already. Okay, and this was going to be the year. If he doesn't get hurt last year, where he ends up being top 5, like he was that good. All right. But, of course, ends up tearing his ACL in practice, and now, is on the road to recovery, trying to come back. I haven't really seen too much as far as whether or not he's going to be the starter week 1. Okay, because he did tear that ACL mid-season. But, nonetheless, all right, I think that Deshaun Watson is going to bring a Super Bowl to this Houston team. Okay, and I'm not saying necessarily it's going to be this year, but nonetheless, he is that good, and they are that good built around him to get that done. Okay, I'd say it probably happens within the next 3 years if he comes back from this ACL injury and plays as well as he did last season. Okay, Deshaun Watson, we already know, has the tools to be one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Okay, he's not the quickest quarterback, but nonetheless, if he needs to, he can take off with the ball, and he will get himself some yards. But more so, his throwing ability is one of the best in the league. And I just think, like I said, given the team they got surrounding him, why wouldn't they be able to win a Super Bowl? Okay. Let me see if I could look at their current team contracts to see who they got locked up long-term and who they don't. Okay, because, like I said, it's ridiculous how good this team is going to end up being going forward with him as their quarterback. And this is what they've been missing since they became a team. All right, back in 2003. Of course, you had Matt Schaub and all that, but of course he wasn't nearly good enough to get you far. All right, you got J.J. Watt until 2022. DeAndre Hopkins, you got J.J. Watt. His last year is the 2021 season. Hopkins' last season is 2022. McKinney's is 2023. Colvin is 22. All right, Kareem Jackson, his last season is this year. Zach Fulton, 2021. Whitney Merciless, his last season is 2019. Lamar Miller, same as him. Clowney's going to be up for a new deal. All right. Andre Hall, 2020. Deshaun Watson, you got him till 2021. I'm assuming you're going to have to link him to a long-term deal. Fuller, 2020. All right. Jonathan Joseph, you got him on 2019 is his last year. A lot of these guys are here long-term. Okay. I might say the best player they got who's going to be a free agent after this season is Tyrann Mathieu. All right, even if Tyrann Mathieu likes it there, maybe the Texans end up bringing him back. But a lot of their core guys, a lot of their top guys are locked up past 2021. Okay? This team is built for the long term. Okay? And like I said, if his knee is fine, I'd say book it as far as them winning a Super Bowl within the next 3 years. They do play in a tough division, so it's a little tougher to get there. All right, but nonetheless, that is true because you do got the Jags, who did make it to the AFC Championship game. Got one of the best defenses in the league. You got the Indianapolis Colts, where it seems, they're telling us that, and Andrew Luck, too, is telling us that He's 100%. He's ready to go. No complications or anything like that. He'll be ready to go week 1. Okay, if this is Andrew Luck with no complications, no problems or anything like that, and he remembers how to throw the ball and play as well as he does, I mean, this is a Super Bowl team too. All right. And then you get the Tennessee Titans, where they could end up having one of the best offenses in football this season. Okay, and going forward. I mean, the AFC South, as much as a laughing stock as it's been in the last few years, I mean, is one of the best divisions in football as of right now. Okay? The only divisions I'd say are better are the NFC South, the NFC East, and the NFC North. All right? But even then, so I'd say it might be actually better than the NFC North. That's how good it is right now. Okay? But it's going to be real interesting. And let me see what the Texans' schedule is looking like this season. All right? And like I said, there hasn't really been too much talk about whether or not he's going to be there week 1. Unless it's just a well-known, common-known thing that, yeah, he's already going to be ready. All right? But they got the Patriots and Titans on the road first 2 weeks. Then you get the Giants, then the Colts week 4. All right? Cowboys, then the Bills, Jags, Dolphins on a short week, but that's in Houston. All right? Then Denver, the Redskins, the Titans, Browns, Colts, Jets, Eagles, and Jags. There's not too many, how do you say, easy gaps on the schedule. Okay, Browns are going to be a tough team. The Jets, those are winnable games along with the Bills. All right, you're playing Miami. Miami should be a decent team this season, but nonetheless, all right, when you play Thursday night games, those games tend to go to the home team. All right, Colts are going to be difficult. And I mean, you got to play the NFC East, your own division, twice each. All right. Plus, you got to play the Patriots week 1. Okay. It's going to be a weird year for Houston. I mean, I don't think there's really too many expectations with this team right now, but eventually there will be. All right. And I mean, as far as that division, the Texans are going to be getting a Super Bowl within the next 3 years, I'd say. I mean, any team from that division could honestly win a Super Bowl within the next few years. Okay? Honestly. It's a possibility. Blake Bortles plays well for the Jags. I mean, they could end up being the best team in the AFC this season. All right. As for the Colts and Andrew Luck, I mean, we already know what kind of quarterback Andrew Luck is. It's just a matter of can he get back to the ability that he once was at. All right? Because, I mean, that team that he took to the AFC Championship game back in 2014 against the Patriots, all right, wasn't great. This team isn't great, but nonetheless, he does have things to work with. Okay? All he needs is T.Y. Hilton. I mean, we saw flashes from Marlon Mack last season. We were basically waiting for him to take over from Frank Gore and to become the starting running back on that team. All right? The defense does scare me a bit, but, I mean, we've seen Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck go through the playoffs with poor defenses like that. I mean, of course, the poor defense didn't really help against the Patriots when they lost 45-7. But what can you do? All right, and as far as the Texans, I think Marcus Mariota, he's probably going to go for 25 touchdowns this year. Probably throw for over 3,500 yards, but I do think that his numbers, of course, those seem pretty decent on paper, but nonetheless, watching him in person, you're going to tell a huge difference between the last year and this year. All right. And I mean, Houston, they were 4-12 last season. How much of a jump can we realistically see them making? Okay, Jacksonville was 10-6. We're expecting them to be good. Tennessee was 9-7. I'm expecting them to be better. All right, I'm not necessarily saying better than the record, but a better team compared to last year. Indianapolis should be a whole lot better from last year, and so should Houston. Okay, there's not going to be too much give and take in this division. All right, but nonetheless, I mean, as far as the AFC goes, yeah, this is the best division in that conference. Okay, I'd say the only thing that really comes close amongst the AFC is maybe the AFC West. But even then, so there's a lot of unknowns there. The AFC East, I'd say Miami's decent. New England, obviously, they're great. As far as the Bills and Jets, we have no clue who their starting quarterback is. And as far as the AFC North, Steelers, sure, they're great. Browns should be decent. All right, and the Ravens and Bengals are basically, who knows what's going on with these teams this season. All right. But nonetheless, I mean, we'll see. Deshaun Watson on his way back. All right, so we're going to wrap it up here. Next up, we'll be talking about anything else going on in the world of football. Like I said, we got training camp starting up. Ravens veterans were reporting today. Bears vets were reporting tomorrow. I mean, I can't wait. Football's nearly here. All right, so like I said, next segment we'll talk about anything else going on, so stay tuned and I'll be right back.
Check out the show built around the women of MMA. From the UFC to the extreme cage fighting, we got the fights covered.
Listen.
It's the Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast. The latest news of upcoming fights, discussions of previous matches. Join us as we talk to and about the biggest names in women's mixed martial arts, past, present, and future. When it's the women's fight game, you know where to listen to. The Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast.
All right, and welcome back to the GSMC Football Podcast. We spent these first three segments talking about Darrelle Revis retiring, the most valuable NFL franchises, and then the last segment we talked about Deshaun Watson. Okay, now we finish off the show talking about whatever else it is going on in the world of football or anything that crosses my mind, so let's get into that. All right, Madden 19, of course. Us NFL fans love buying it. I think the game itself, I mean, there's no real progress on it. I feel like it's the same thing every year. Of course, I only buy it from the rosters, but now there's ways where you could just download it from the community files and all that. But nonetheless, I mean, I'm still going to end up buying Madden this season. Why? Because it's Madden. Okay, I think the last Madden I didn't get was, I think there was a period from Madden 2007 to 2009 I didn't get, and then from 2000 on I started getting it again. But nonetheless, I mean, Antonio Brown's going to be on that cover. A bit of a risky move for Antonio Brown. Okay, me being a firm believer in the Madden curse, it does come for people. Okay, and let's see the last Madden, the last few Madden cover athletes. Okay, because I mean, the Madden curse is real. As much as you want to say it's not, it truly is. All right, Calvin Johnson was on the Madden cover 2013. Okay, he ended up retiring early. Richard Sherman covered 2015. After that, the Seahawks started going down. He blew out his Achilles. All right. I think, wasn't Odell Beckham Jr. on the cover recently? Or was he not? I know it was Tom Brady last season. Okay, let me see real quick if I can find them all. Let's see. So, Madden, Odell Beckham Jr. was on the cover 2016. Last year, he had a season-ending injury. Tom Brady was on it 2018. All right, they lost in the Super Bowl. He lost to Nick Foles. Plus, all that stuff about him having problems with Bill Belichick came out. Madden curse does not always deal with injury, okay? Rob Gronkowski, speaking of injury, was hurt 2017. All right. Peyton Hillis, Madden cover 2012. After that, never heard of again. Drew Brees 2011. They missed the playoffs a few times after that. Troy Polamalu retired. All right. Larry Fitzgerald still doing the thing. That's the only Madden curse I guess hasn't affected either of them. Vince Young, was on the Madden cover 2008. Out the league after that. I think that was the Jeff Fisher curse. All right. But Dante Culpepper on the Madden cover 2002. After that, gets that knee injury. Never the same again. All right. People can say they don't believe in the Madden curse all they want. Nonetheless, it is real. Okay. It absolutely is. You can't tell me this is all just coincidences. All right. You go on the Madden cover, you be my guest. Okay. But don't come complaining when the curse comes for you. All right. But nonetheless, I think we're all just at the point where we just miss football. Okay. I think that's where it is. The offseason is pretty much all but dried up. There's no real news coming on. All right. This month was miserable as far as the NFL. Just retirements, arrests, and suspensions being handed over and around. It was ridiculous. Okay? You look one way, oh, this guy's getting in trouble. You look the other way, oh, that guy's getting in trouble. You look at this way, oh, this guy's getting suspended. You look at that way, oh, that guy's retiring. All right? I mean, the offseason was great. April, we had the draft. Okay? Baker Mayfield going number 1. That was a shock to some. Mel Kiper, coincidentally enough, figured that he needed to change his mock draft one more time so he could get the number 1 pick right. All right? After the fact that everyone knew Baker Mayfield was going number 1 that day. Okay, Josh Rosen ended up falling to number 10 to the Cardinals. Doesn't seem like he was too happy about that. Now he's got something to prove. Sam Darnold, can he be the first great quarterback in Jets history? All right, those of you yelling Joe Namath, sorry, he was overrated. All right. Josh Allen, I mean, he's got to be hoping that he doesn't see the field once this season because he has no weapons to throw to. I mean, it's honestly ridiculous. Okay, how the Bills refuse to put talent on that offense. Like, defense is fine. Just give the guy some receivers at least to throw to. I mean, come on. All right. The Jets in there. All right, we were talking about Sam Darnold. Let's see. Kirk Cousins, he's on a new team. I mean, the NFL is completely different now. Okay? Now we got to see what the San Francisco 49ers are going to do. Jimmy Garoppolo, we've been hearing the last couple of years. He's the truth. He's the next man up. All right? He's the chosen one. All right, everyone's been talking Jimmy G up, but is he going to be able to deliver on expectations? Okay. I mean, I'd say I'm expecting the 49ers to go probably about 8-8, 7-9. Probably miss out. They're going to miss out on the playoffs, I think. But, I mean, I think they're going to have a decent season. Players are going to show some flashes. And I'm just curious, man. I mean, as good as Jimmy Garoppolo has looked, can he do it over a 16-game season? Okay, it's all cool when you're doing it for bits and pieces of an NFL season, but you got to do it 16 straight games. Okay? Seattle, I mean, they're on the downfall. All right? They're in a real, very vulnerable part of their rebuild where if things don't go this way and they end up going that way, Seattle's going to be gathered for the near future. All right? And you don't want to waste away Russell Wilson's years. These are prime Super Bowl contending years right here for Seattle, and it's not looking great. Okay? Out on the NFC, I mean, Jameis Winston's going to be suspended for the first 3 games of the season in the NFC South. I mean, is he the one that Tampa Bay wants to stick with going forward? Okay? If Tampa Bay goes through another terrible season, are you going to stick with Dirk Cutter, or are you just going to say, hey, this isn't working? All right? I mean, over with Green Bay, we haven't talked a lot about it recently, is that Aaron Rodgers still hasn't worked out an extension with the Packers. He's only got this year and 2019 left on his contract. Who's to say Rodgers just says, you know what, I don't want to work out a deal, I want to become a free agent. Okay? These are all very well possibilities. And Aaron Rodgers doesn't seem like the one who's too loyal. Aaron Rodgers seems like the guy who realizes he's playing football as a job and he's going to make the best decision for himself going forward because of this being his job. Okay? Eagles, returning Super Bowl champs. All right? How much better are they going to get with Wentz out there? Are they going to get much better? I mean, we got to see about that. Dak Prescott in his 3rd year. 1st year looked great. 2nd year looked awful. What is his 3rd year going to bring? Okay, over in the AFC, Adam Gase says Ryan Tannehill's my guy. All right, going out on a limb for Ryan Tannehill and basically putting his job on the line for Ryan Tannehill. All right, Tannehill doesn't deliver this season. Gase gets fired, and Tannehill just might be out of there. Okay, New England, can they get into the Super Bowl win before Brady or Belichick right off into the sunset? I mean, they got a couple years before that happens, but it's going to be happening soon. All right, Cleveland, 0-16 last season. Can they go from 0-16 to possible playoff team this season? It's a possibility of happening. All right, Pittsburgh, what are they going to do in their last season with Le'Veon Bell? We already talked a lot about the AFC South in the 3rd segment. Over in the AFC West, I mean, Denver, Super Bowl window closed up the last 2 years because of no quarterback. Now you got Case Keenum. Can he take you there? He did take the Vikings to the NFC Championship game last season. All right, John Gruden's back. What are the Raiders going to do this season? All right. Was trading Alex Smith away and making Pat Mahomes the starter the right move for the Chiefs? And as for the Chargers, best team you've had in years, most complete team you've had in years. You're going to make the playoffs and make some noise, or are they just going to choke at the end of the season or any close game they're ever in? Who knows? All right, but nonetheless, plenty of storylines to watch out for this NFL season. All right, and we are so close to seeing how these storylines play out. All right, but nonetheless, only a few more weeks. All right, so we're going to wrap it up here. Like I said, today we talked Darrelle Revis. We've talked valuable NFL franchises according to Forbes. Third segment, we talked to Deshaun Watson, and here we talked about pretty much storylines to watch for coming up this season. So thanks for listening to the GSMC Football Podcast. As always, I am your host, Jesse Tapia. I will be back tomorrow, so stay tuned, and I will talk to you guys later.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.